Welcome back. Check one, check one. Can you hear me? Can you see me in the chat? Let me know. Welcome back to an all new episode of Let's Talk Lions live. YouTube guy, my man, thank you for being here. Hey, drop it in the chat. Can you guys see me? Can you hear me? Is it all coming through nice and smooth? Let me know. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. Today's what? Saturday, June 12th. First of all, I can't even believe it's already June. That is a mind blowing thing. Jonathan Foster, thanks for being here. Dude, good to see you, man. Hey, man. Appreciate you being here. You say you got to get some contribution in. Appreciate it. Players actually seem to be enjoying themselves for the first time in years. And that's exactly it. That's something that we're going to talk about. So, obviously, this week as a whole, CJ, appreciate you letting me know that the stream is coming in nice and smooth. Janny Yang, thanks for being here. Yanni, Johnny, could be one of them, could be any one of them. Yeah, all in all, it has been a very light week in Detroit Lions news. It's been a light week, NFL news as a whole, I would say, but very specifically looking at the Lions, not much has transpired. Obviously, it was minicamp, so there's a lot going on there. However, for us as fans, not a lot to talk about. So I was like, I'm not just going to make a bunch of videos for nothing, about nothing, because I'm not going to waste your time. You don't need that. Time is precious. So they say. Just want to check in, everybody. How are you doing? What are you drinking this morning? What kind of coffee do you have? First and foremost, shout out to my grandma. Today is her 90th birthday. Well, technically, it was earlier this week, but they're celebrating her 90th birthday, and she is a huge fan of the show. So, Grandma, happy birthday. I know you'll be watching this stream much later. So, enjoy the day. For everybody else, welcome back to an all new episode of Let's Talk Lions live. Appreciate you guys being here. So I do want to want to kind of break into minicamp as a whole. I put out a video, I think it was Monday or Tuesday, reviewing the first day of minicamp. And then as it continued to spread out, everything was pretty docile. Everything was pretty quiet. And so I just kind of wanted to take some time, look at some stuff. Very specifically, today is going to be a shorter live stream due to the fact that it's not a lot to talk about, and I don't want to bore you. Nobody wants that. So, as we are moving into today, if you guys like music, if you like really good music, my favorite artist, his name's Andrew Bell. This is just a little shout out for him. Just put out a new song. It's called My Poor Heart. Highly recommend you listen to it. It's a good song. It's a good song. He put it out yesterday, early in the morning, and music video came with it. But I know, off topic, doesn't matter. The song is phenomenal. Love Andrew Bell. Stud of a human being. Great music. Check it out. Ian Saunders. Coffee's brewing in the Lions coffee mug. My guy. Thanks for being here, Ian. Appreciate it. Guten Morgen. What that's is that German, right? It's German. Giving it my best guess. Way to be here. Big West. Thanks for being here. Baseball, what if we make the playoffs? Yo, with every passing day that Aaron Rodgers continues to give a middle finger to the organization that first gave him a middle finger, things are looking better and better for the Detroit Lions. Not gonna lie there. Could you imagine if Aaron Rodgers just is like, nah, I'm done. Just done with Green Bay, goes and plays in Oakland, or I guess Vegas. My brain can't even comprehend that. Had a family member reach out to me and they're like, yo, basically just reaching out being like, man, if Aaron Rodgers leaves, think about the possibility for the Detroit Lions even this year. And I don't want to get all googly eyed about 2021 because I don't think it's going to happen that way, but is what it is. Noah Bruno, what's up, dude? I'm a Bills fan, but couldn't help but sub because of the quality of your vids. Keep it up. Noah, I got a question for you. First and foremost, go Bills. I will be going to Buffalo for a Buffalo Bills game this year. It might be Bills versus Miami, might be Bills Patriots. This way we can yell the terrible things about Tom Brady out in the lot over by Bills Mafia. But anyway, Noah, my question for you is, how did you find this channel? How did you? I mean, I appreciate you being here and subbing because of the quality, because of everything that I'm bringing to you. But my mind is blown that as a Bills fan, you're just chilling. You're just chilling here. Bills are Michigan's second team. Absolutely, they are. Love the Bills. And that's why August 13th, I will be live streaming the Bills Lions preseason game. I'm going to have two Buffalo Bills fans on. If you were here for the draft, Dan and my brother Bobby, huge Bills fans, they'll be joining us. I'll have some other guys from the draft hanging out. We're going to stream the game, go nuts, get to watch a bunch of our backups, get to see these guys that, as we're watching minicamp unfold, these guys that we're looking for in the future, their development, we get to watch them play. They get to battle against the Bills. It'll be a super fun day. Maybe we get to play Mitch Trubisky. And Mitch loves to beat the Lions. Does he not? Big West already coming in with the questions. Let's see here. Do you think that Green Bay fans will be taking a toaster bath if Rodgers leaves? You know what? Green Bay fans are such kind people. I think they'll bid him farewell and be like, "Thanks for the memories. Goodbye." And they'll just kind of move into the Jordan Love era. I think a lot of them will be very upset. However, they're going to be upset in the kindest way because as much as I hate Green Bay, God, their fans are kind. It's incredibly annoying, actually. So let's see here. Trevor, my man, am I going to any games in the Dirty D this year? Good question. It might have to be, I might have to go, depending on where we are throughout the season. I would love to go to the Lions Green Bay game. I'm bummed that I believe it's week, well, technically 18. I think it's our 17th game this year. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's a game I would love to go to, especially if we are in contention for the playoffs. That would be the game that I'd be like, all right, that'd be a lot of fun. Potentially the Philadelphia game. I have not solidified any tickets yet. Am I trying to work the Lions to give me free tickets? Absolutely, I am. But they respond to 0 emails or any direct messages or anything. Anything. You know, I've even sent some paper birds like in D&D. Those have not reached Sheila yet. So we'll get there. We'll get there. All right, moving on. Let's see. Yeah, Ryan, you are correct about Green Bay fans. They are lying to themselves already. Oh, look at that. Noah, appreciate you getting back to me. It was actually in your recommended videos. I watched a good amount of football-based videos. Kind of popped up. Hey, not complaining. My man, Noah, thank you for joining us because you know what? The Bills Mafia, you guys are our brothers. I appreciate you being here. Thanks for liking the show. Even though it's all about the Detroit Lions, I appreciate it. Love the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, you know what? There's a lot of interesting information out there looking at Justin Fields. From what I understand, he's looking good in minicamp. That's a lot of the stuff that I've seen. That's the word. However, minicamp is minicamp. And that's a big thing. As we're going into this minicamp review for the Lions specifically, what's hard is you kind of get your hopes up. At least I get my hopes up. I start looking, I start reading all the articles, Tim 20 all these guys, what they're seeing. And I want to get hyped. I want to get juiced up. But then you got to reel it back to reality and remember it's just minicamp. And there's still a lot of time in this offseason to go for guys to develop, for guys to just sort of plateau. So I don't want to get overhyped on some stuff, specifically our defense. I don't want to get overhyped on them. The same way the Bears should probably not get overhyped on Justin Fields. Just my 2 cents there. Moving on. Let's see here. Yeah, Jordan Love, Kyle Massey coming in saying Jordan Love is nasty. Dude is a Mahomes Lance type QB. Gets to learn under arguably the most talented QB of all time. Not looking forward to him at all. You're right. The fact that he has gotten to learn under Aaron Rodgers is a huge bummer for us. However, it was only 1 year during COVID. So we got to kind of hope that plays to our favor. For those of you just joining, thank you for joining Let's Talk Lions live this Saturday morning. Not a lot has transpired this week. It was just minicamp, so I'm not going to bore you. We're going to kind of roll through it. And first and foremost, minicamp recap. I want to start with the O-line. Looking at the O-line directly, right off the bat, from what I've been able to gather, our O line looks to be shaping up to exactly what we are expecting them to be. About a month ago, the best video I've made on Let's Talk Lions, well, the best, the one that had the most views, I think it was like 14,000 views, was about the O line. And my mind was blown after I made that. And I was like, should I just only make videos about the O line? But like, the O line is stacked. The O line is stacked, and actually seeing them perform in minicamp has been very heartwarming. I don't know any other word for it. It is lovely, especially Jonah Jackson coming out and his interview, what he had to say. Jonah Jackson came right out and said, I think we could be the best O line in the league. Yo, those are huge words. I believe that we were ranked 13th overall by PFF last year, if I'm not mistaken. So to go from 13 to the best would be insane. The last time we had this good of an O-line, not even this good. The last time we had a good O-line was 2013. Sorry for I got excited, started yelling. 2013 was the last time our O-line has looked to be as good, if not this year's will be better, in my opinion. But looking at minicamp very specifically, this O line operating smoothly. Yes, there is a big transition for Sewell from left tackle to right tackle. However, I think that transition will be made because the guy he's unbelievable. He's unbelievable. And with the right coaching, which I think we have here in Detroit for the first time in a long time, I think Penei Sewell is going to transition to right tackle well. Yeah, you know what? I don't know what the stipulation is for Hard Knocks. I can't remember. I want to say you can't be a first year coach, and that's probably why we weren't on it. And so that would be, I would love it. I would love it. Be a lot of fun to watch. Asan, my man, what's happening? How has my week been? Let me put it this way. For those of you that don't know, I am, for lack of better terms, a creative, an artist. And so I spent my morning walking about town, taking photos, taking videos, just creative type of stuff, just taking a bunch of photos, videos, and creating. It's been lovely. It was a lovely week. Spent a few afternoons writing. It was a very creative week, I have to say. It was very, very nice. In fact, I'm thinking about making a second channel maybe later this year where it's just all of my artistic work. Maybe you guys are like, I'm not interested. That's totally fine because I'll still do it anyway and it'll be a blast. But then you'll get to see what I do on the regular, what my life looks like. Very very polarizing take from Let's Talk Lions to what I do artistically speaking. So, yeah, it's been a good week. I appreciate it, my man. Yeah, you know what? That's another thing. Maybe Bortles does beat out Love because Blake Bortles is a backup QB for Green Bay at the moment. I think Bortles coming into this year, he really could. It could be like the Andy Dalton type of Dalton, Justin Fields, Bortles, and then you got this guy Love. Could be very interesting. I think the whole QB game in the NFC North is quite fascinating. Minus Minnesota is just they got good old Kirk out there doing his thing. Kyle Massey, my man, appreciate the love. Appreciate that. Yeah, then looks like we're gonna make a second channel. It'll be all my artistry, and you guys will be like, this guy's a lot more weird than I thought. So looking back at the O-line, obviously we talked about the O-line. Another thing coming out of minicamp that I'd love to talk about is Hockenson. Yo, Hockenson, not only what I love about Hockenson is in this offseason, he spent so much time with Kittle. He spent so much time with Kittle and the boys, just getting reps in, getting bigger. He tacked on so much more muscle. There's a reason why from his first year to his second year, the guy had a breakout season. He went double down. He doubled down on everything. Look at the amount of receptions per attempts. You look at the yards. Hockenson really has elevated his game and is only continuing to do so to the point where when you look at our wide receiver core, I expect Hockenson to be sought out by Jared Goff on the regular. I think we're going to look at a monstrous year from TJ Hockenson so long as the guy does not get injured. Ian Saunders, did I see the Jared Goff, Rich Eisen interview? I did not see it. Actually, I pulled it up, had it on the side while I was editing a podcast for work, and never got around to it. Actually, completely forgot about it. Thank you for the reminder. Definitely got to go listen to it. Was it good? I'm assuming it was good. Ian, drop it in the chat. For everybody else, thank you for being here today. I appreciate it. Coming out of minicamp, couple takeaways that we've covered so far. O-line is looking to be as good as we are all anticipating. TJ Hockenson is looking like a monster. He looks like a transformer out on the field. Loving it. Loving what Hockenson's going to do. I do expect a lot out of him coming into this season. Number 3, the running backs room. Yo, this running backs room, I am very, very excited for. It's the first time I've been excited for our running backs room in Detroit in a very, very long time. I can't really tell you the last time I was excited about the running backs, led by DeAndre Swift with the perfect complementary piece in Jamal Williams. I love Jamal Williams. I love that guy's heart, and finishing out with Jamar Jefferson. So there is the question about Gurley. And I know you're all wondering it, and I don't want to get too deep into it because we're kind of stuck in limbo with Gurley. Gurley ends up going out to Baltimore. He interviews or, goes through the ringer with Baltimore. Turns out that he leaves Balti without a deal. It sounds to me like Gurley, the agent, they have a price in mind. They have a certain contract in mind that is just not, no team is falling for it. No team is falling for it. I think everybody's able to look at his experience and be like, you were phenomenal. And now there's the injury concern. We have some problems with that. And I love what Dan Campbell said. He said, we are interested in the young man. We would love him, but on our terms. To Dan Campbell. Because truly, how many, and you look at what Quinn Trisha did, right? Matt Patricia, Bob Quinn, they looked at big names and they said, here is millions of dollars. Please save us. And after you do that 4 or 5 times, you're just out of money and people are playing only for keeping their career alive. I look at Gurley, whatever Gurley and his agent want. I believe that Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn would have been like, heck yeah, come on. Here's the money that you want. Here's the years. Get over here to Detroit. It would have been a real Quinn Trisha thing to do. Whereas Dan Campbell is like, nah, man, here are the terms. Here is the deal. It's this or it's nothing. I love it. I love it. That is such a ballin' move to make. Just kind of looking through the chat right here. Ian Saunders, you're saying it's really good. I will definitely watch it then. I appreciate it. Yeah, also very interesting. You bring up Megatron, Ryan, looking at basically what's his name? Hockenson. They had Hockenson watching a bunch of Calvin Johnson tape, which says, man, to me, that Hockenson is going to make some big moves this year, whatever they're looking to do with him. I am excited for. Back to the running back room. From what we can tell, from all of the articles that have been written, everything that I have read at this point, it looks to me that the passing game in the running backs room is going to be huge. We are implementing passing the ball to these running backs, which I find to be very fascinating. And I'm very excited for, especially with Jamal Williams. Jamal Williams is a phenomenal blocker, but also pass catching running back. I love that. My mind just goes back to Swift dropping the ball in the end zone. However, I know that's not him. I know that was just a one in a however many chance mistake. It's okay. I'm not worried about Swift in that regard. I think that we are going to see Goff tossing the old ham to these running backs a ton. We saw it a lot in minicamp. Joe Santero, appreciate it. Any news on Sewell adapting to the right side of the line? The only news that we have really heard is Dan Campbell saying he's a rookie. He's a rookie. And Sewell coming out and being like, yeah, it's a lot different. Sewell put it great. I think I said it before. Basically, Sewell was like, the way it feels adapting from left tackle to right tackle is you're a righty your whole life and you can write your name in cursive and it's great. And then you're handed a pen, put it in your left hand, and you're expected to write at the exact same speed and accuracy with your left hand, your name. You know the position, you understand it, you understand how to do it. However, it's a totally different way about it. And so that is a phenomenal example as to what it feels like for Sewell in that regard. That's all that we really know. It sounds like he's slowly transitioning to the right tackle position, but there is a lot of work ahead of him. However, he is expected to be starting right tackle against San Francisco week 1. That is the assumption. That's where we're at. So there's a lot of work to be done. But I think, looking at Sewell and listening to Jonah Jackson made a comment about Sewell being like, this guy, I know I know he's only 20 years old. However, this guy acts like an adult on the field, off the field, while watching film. Everything he does, Sewell is a man. He's not a boy. He's not a 20-year-old boy. He presents himself in a way that he's hungry. The guy's hungry. The guy's vicious, wants to learn, wants to be the best. Our O-line is going to be dope. And yeah, you know what? See, I'm with you, man. Breakout year for Swift. I don't play fantasy because I can't mentally root for other players that are playing against the Lions. I just can't do it. Every year, people are like, oh, can you, join the fantasy league? And I'm like, nah, bro, I'm not interested because I played it for 1-2 years and it just was not healthy for me at all. I was a little too engrossed. And then when other teams are playing the Lions and I find myself rooting for a player, but I want that team to lose, it's just no bueno. Not a fan. So if you do play fantasy, though, Swift would probably be I think, a highly underrated running back, if not perfectly rated running back. Pick him up. What players stood out at minicamp for your Lions? First and foremost, TJ Hockenson. As I said it before, Hockenson stood out to be the cyborg that he is and just really elevating his game. He had a Pro Bowl season in 2020. He had 67, I want to say, receptions. I think it was 67 receptions for 101 attempts. Correct me if I'm wrong. But looking at that, man, he comes into this third year, he is expected to be the beast that he is. And from what it sounds like, he stood out big time. Another guy who stood out is Victor Bolden. All y'all remember that name, Victor Bolden. He's been hanging out in the Detroit Lions locker room for quite some time. However, we've never really gotten to see him on the field. I believe he was returning a couple punts for us last year. Obviously, we had Jamal Agnew. We saw Victor Bolden out there a little bit. But from what it sounds like, the wide receivers room has some heavy competition. This wide receiver room is more abundant than sheep in Settlers of Catan. Like, we just have, when you're like, I always have sheep. How do I always have sheep? Everybody has sheep. You can't really use it unless you're playing the expansion pack when you can sail across the high seas. But anyways, our wide receiver core is like that. We have a ton of guys all battling it out. From what it sounds like, Terrell Williams has really established himself as wide receiver 1. We all knew that coming into this year. I think we all expected him to be the wide receiver 1 after we picked him up. And the interesting thing that I find about Terrell Williams is it seems like everybody has just forgotten about him. Like fans, other players, like he's just kind of made his way very subtly. And it's because he didn't play in the 2020 season. He had a shoulder injury, could not play the entire season. And before that, he's a good wide receiver. So to me, he stood out as like, oh yeah, okay, yep, you're who we thought you were. And we're excited to have you here. Yeah, and then, you obviously have Jared Goff. Jared Goff stood out to me as well. Many people, when looking at Jared Goff, are very quick to be like, Jared Goff doesn't have the arm strength. Now, listen, we had Matt Stafford for 12 years, and that guy could huck the ball to the moon like the Dr. Seuss book. And so I'm not expecting Jared Goff to be that. However, from minicamp, from reading a couple different articles, it sounds like Jared Goff throwing a tight spiral down the field. Yes, it's not the same arm as Stafford. However, he's got it and he's got what it takes. And he's really picking up in that leadership role as QB1 here in Detroit. The guys respecting him. Goff excited to be wanted. I think that Goff is going to have a good year. Book it. That's my take here. So many people want to just rip the guy. Look, man, I think Goff has an excellent year, comes out, really shuts people up. Specifically, I think he beats LA. I think we beat LA. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, you're crazy. We're not beating LA. That's fine. Believe what you want. I think that Goff comes out with the chip on his shoulder and absolutely does the dirty out in LA. That's a game I would love to go to, man. But that is it's a little far from here. Yeah, it should definitely be a great game versus the Rams. Big West, appreciate that. Yeah, and wow, I'm just seeing everybody in the chat is just going off about DeAndre Swift having all like the amount of yards, probably 1,200 yards. We got Swift will be a 1,500 yard plus, 1,200 yards. Yeah, guys, Swift is going to have a good year. And a lot of that, I do believe, is owed to the fact that we are going to have a top 5 O line this season. So long as everybody stays healthy, when you have an O line that is as good as what we have at the moment, it creates time and less pressure for your QB. It creates openings for your running backs, for Swift, gives time to the wide receivers to create separation, and it gives time to Hockenson to absolutely robo-stomp somebody out there on the field into just absolute dust and matter. Very excited for that. Yo, wow. So we got Joe Santora making the prediction. Brockers has 3 sacks. He knows the Rams O-line weakness. Yeah, man, that's a great point. Plus, Brockers, I think, was a little shocked about getting traded. And so I think he comes out there with a vengeance as well. Brockers really proving, look what you did. I'm still the guy that you drafted back in, oh man, what was that? Was it 2014, 2012? He's been with them for 9 years. So 2012 must have been. And then from there, I was talking about the wide receiver competition. It sounds like Victor Bolden really showed off. It sounds to me also that Dan Campbell came out and talked about Cephas, talked about Quintus Cephas. Obviously, Cephas, we picked him up. Last year was his rookie year. He gets thrown out there. We only see him a couple games. There were some bright, shining moments, but most of it, I was actually like, oh, I was expecting more from you. And that's all right. We had terrible leadership. It sounds like, according to Dan Campbell, Cephas really showed up and showed off. He said he turned it on, battling out for that spot, really came out with some serious elevation in his game, which is very exciting to hear that. Amon-Ra St. Brown learning at a quick pace. And then Brashad Perriman. Definitely that one is like I want to hear more. I don't think I've gotten enough. I didn't see enough. I want to see more from Brashad Perriman. For those of you who don't know, obviously minicamp just ended. We have 4 more days left. I do believe it's 4 days left of OTAs. It sounds like we're going to have 50 guys, according to Dan Campbell. 50 guys hanging out, getting those reps in still. The other 40 will be heading out, going wherever they're going. For the rest of the offseason. We have training camp coming up in July. So it's kind of like the super slow down period for us, for the line, for the NFL this upcoming week. Yeah, Robert Green calling it out. The Lions will finally have a running game that Stafford never had. Goff will use it for play action. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to actually see a running game here in Detroit. And it makes me feel really bad for Matt Stafford. Poor Stafford. Like, you were here for 12 years. We could never get it right. And then we're like, yo, we're rebuilding and it's without you. And obviously he wanted to move on. It was mutual. It was very mutual. But now to have an O-line that could protect Stafford, now to have an O-line that could really protect the running game, like, man, I do feel bad for him. And then we got, see, man, you're calling it out. Think that the Rams will destroy us? It's very likely. It's very likely. But the Lions do have a tendency of winning the games that we should not win. What are your impressions from the coaching staff as a whole? Appreciate the question, Ian. As a whole, my impressions are, oh my God, am I excited for this coaching staff? Look, One of the biggest takeaways, one of the biggest things that I can say after this mini camp is how much respect our players have for these coaches. Look at the last 3 years. Our players had zero respect for the coaches to the point where the coaches said, well, we just got to bring in guys that we once coached a long while ago from the New England Patriots, and just kept shuffling these little boys in and just being like, all right, maybe you like us now. No, no. This coaching staff has built trust within the first few months of even existing, of even being a Detroit Lions coach. It's incredible. Listening to these guys come out, Jeff Okuda, Tracy Walker, and then what Michael Brockers all talk about Aaron Glenn. Like, this is stuff I have not heard from Detroit Lions players for the coaches in years. These guys, these players love the coaches. There is a trust, a bond that is truly unreal, and it is so wonderful to see. Now, that is one aspect of coaching, is building the trust of the players and the basically the players wanting to win for you. But the other side is, how is their coaching ability? From what it sounds like, from what these players are saying, from what our guys are saying, they're like, yo, these guys know these coaches know what they're talking about because they are also ex players. That's one thing that is a huge element to this, that we have all ex players as coaches, them understanding the game in a different way, and the players are taking that into account. You can see it. DeAndre Swift, the same thing when he's talking about Deuce Staley. Like, these guys are looking at our coaches and they're like, oh my God, you know what you're talking about. Randall L., as the wide receiver coach, looking and listening to the wide receivers talking about Randall L. Like, this is a beautiful thing. And it's either going to be absolutely glorious or it is going to crumble upon us. And I hope it's not that one. Yeah, Kyle calling it out. I feel like the Lions might have the best O-line in the league. That's what Jonah Jackson said. Jonah Jackson said, we got the makings for the best O-line in the league. Everybody, thank you for being here today. Welcome to Let's Talk Lions Live. For those of you who weren't here in the beginning, today is my grandma's 90th birthday. Happy birthday, Grandma. And shout out to grandmas everywhere because they're just great. They're just great. Maybe, maybe not all, but I would say I'd put my money on the large majority of people love their grandmas. That was a weird tangent, but we're there. We're there. Everything's good. And for those of you just joining, I'm just going to throw it out there. Favorite musician, Andrew Bell, just dropped a new song, My Poor Heart. Check it out. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. Highly recommend it. All right, Kyle coming in. What do you make of Jared Goff reports so far? Some say he looks great. Others say he's struggling. Kyle, great question. I talked about Jared Goff a little bit. I'll hone in on it again because it's a live stream and we're doing this together. Yo, Jared Goff as a whole, listening to the reports, what I have been able to take is, because you're right. A lot of people have said, I've seen both reports. Some people being like, oh, Jared. And I think that is the negative hype, the classic Lions negativity, because when looking at and listening to the players as well talking about Jared Goff, it sounds to me like Jared Goff is here and he wants to be here and he wants to succeed. And it sounds like it's showing in minicamp. Listening to Hockenson talk about Jared Goff, the way that he sees the game, the fact that Jared Goff feels valued, is valued, not feels valued, is valued by Dan Campbell while coming up with these plays. All in all, the reports, I'm definitely leaning more towards the side of, there's a lot of positivity coming out of Goff's performance. It's looking good. Yeah, there's the moments he throws the pick that the guy runs back for 100 yards. It might have been Walker. I can't remember. He throws a pick in 7-on-7, runs back 100 yards. Yeah, it sucks, man. But all in all, from what I can take, I would say there is more positive than there is negative. Kyle shouting it out. Happy birthday, Grandma. You hear that, Grandma? That's for you. She watches everything. She watches every video, every show I put out. In fact, she's at a birthday party for herself right now. Wouldn't doubt that Grandma's watching this. YouTube guy, Goff has been very mediocre overall. I would say a little bit above mediocre. Just me, just listening to the reports. It sounds like he's definitely more above mediocre. However, the mediocrity is there. It is Jared Goff. It's going to be very interesting. The pieces around him matter big time. And that's exactly, look at you, YouTube guy. Second, I think that the coaching staff will boost Goff's production. 100%. 100%. Couldn't have said it better. He's got the pieces around him. He's got an excellent coaching staff. He's got the right running backs, a phenomenal O-line. Yeah, the wide receiver room is the biggest struggle. However, with TJ Hockenson, I expect to see a lot of Goff to Hockenson this year. Joe asking about the safety group. You know what? Very interesting question, Joe. I appreciate it. What is interesting about the safety room is listening to Dan Campbell make mention that it's where our greatest depth is. And I kind of sat there and I'm reading through, listening to him, and I'm like, really? Like I was expecting a lot more pain, a lot more struggling, but it sounds like our secondary as a whole is improving. And I can't say other than Aaron Glenn, man. Aaron Glenn is here and he's making a difference. And you know what? One of you guys commented before, Jonathan Foster, I believe it was, basically saying, yo, Aaron Glenn's going to he's going to get a head coaching job after this. He is turning around this defense. I am super excited to see what this defense can do, the development this year. Look, if we lose 9-10 games this year, but our defense actually functions at a high level and we just get beat out, I will be a happy man to see a good defense perform, to execute well, and not just look like a bunch of discombobulated molecules beep bopping around the field the whole time. I won't. Can't do it. Yeah, Teardrop Floyd calling it in, extending Ragnow early and largely showed that the effort will be rewarded. Happy birthday, Grandma. Grandma, that one's for you. Yeah, extending Ragnow was huge. It was. And I mean, like, if we didn't, I would have been very, very bummed at the Lions coaching staff for not making that decision. Let's see. K-Lomp Sauce. I'm nervous they think that he's the future. I'm looking to go 4-13 to get a top 5 pick for the next decade, guy. Thoughts? So you bring up a great point. A lot of people, as a competitor, I don't want to tank. I don't believe in tanking. I don't want to see tanking. I think it hurts the morale of the players, especially when there's these winnable games. However, I understand, man, you end up being top 5 pick. You get a wide receiver to add to this core that really helps out. So there are elements of losing that end up working out in your favor. However, I don't want to see us just lose for losing's sake in order to get a pick for the next year. I look at this team, I see what we're doing, and the morale that is around these guys. I don't think these players are going to go down. They're not going down without a fight. Compared to last year, it felt like Kenny G was in it for himself, sitting on the sideline with a hip injury. You know, like all these guys just sort of in it for themselves. Everybody was there to make a dollar and to wear a certain color on Sunday and be like, I'm here and I'm making money. So this is good. Where the crew that we have now under this leadership will not go down without a fight. 4-13. I don't think is what we end up with. I do believe we have a losing record, especially if Aaron Rodgers is still in Green Bay, going 7-10. However, if Aaron Rodgers is not there, we could easily have a winning record beating Green Bay twice. That's actually where I'd put my money on it. I would say we beat Green Bay twice with no Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, Glenn is instilling confidence. First and foremost, guys, thanks for chilling with me. Thanks for grabbing your coffee. I've had 2.5 cups. It's probably too much. Also, this light is giving a lot of heat. Probably shouldn't have worn a sweater coming into this. But thanks for hanging out with me this Saturday morning, pouring yourself some coffee, some water, chilling on the couch, listening to me bring you a review of Minicamp. Because as I said earlier, Minicamp was pretty quiet as a whole. We just sort of heard every day, hey, here's the observations. Hockenson looks great. Goff had a good day. Goff had an okay day. Defense is it was kind of like a money laundering scale. Like you didn't know what was going on with defense. But I appreciate you guys all being here. The plan is to get Manning, no QB drafted in the next couple of years. You know what? It was interesting watching that guy toss the ball around. Definitely, I don't know. I'm not gonna put my money on any QBs yet. Let's see what Goff does. I think Goff has a good year, and I think 2022 if he has a good year this year, an even better year in 2022, and he might be the QB for the Detroit Lions for a little bit. Yeah, CJ, you bring up a good point. Maybe Glenn doesn't want to be a head coach. But if you can turn this defense around, I think some serious money is going to be waved in that guy's face. I don't want that to happen. I want him to stay here. But yeah, best of luck to Glenn. Yeah, Green Bay is very subpar without Rodgers. I mean, Matt Prater threw a touchdown against Green Bay when they didn't have Aaron Rodgers. Probably one of the highlights of that season. I think that was 2 years ago, right? I think that was 2019. It was probably one of the best moments. All in all, when I'm looking at this schedule, I think our division without Rodgers is open for the taking. The NFC North is open for the taking without Rodgers. You could very well see Minnesota and Detroit battling for that first round. I think Chicago doesn't have it this year. Green Bay without Rodgers is a third place team. Just my opinion, though. That's my question for you guys. Drop it in the chat. Green Bay loses Aaron Rodgers. Give me the standings of the NFC North. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to say without Rodgers, you're looking at Minnesota, Detroit, Green Bay, Chicago. Yes, I believe Chicago's that bad. Yeah, you know what, Don Burr, you bring up a good point. You want Rodgers to play. He was barely beating Matt Patricia. You know what, man? It's a tough situation because on one hand, I just want to get that guy out of here. He has plagued us for far too long. However, on another hand, I would love for the Detroit Lions to actually become the good team that we are looking like we are becoming. And I would love to beat Aaron Rodgers in Lambeau. If it's not this year, next year. If he sticks around, signs the extension, he stays. I would love to beat him in Green Bay, but I don't think he will. If he plays this year, it's got to be his last. It's got to be. Hey, appreciate it, C. Yeah, man, that's what I'm saying. Minnesota, Lions, Green Bay, Chicago. So we got YouTube guy saying Green Bay last without Rodgers. Bears with Trubisky went 8-8 last year, correct. And now they're without Trubisky, and it's Andy Dalton, which, hey, Andy Dalton. Yeah, never mind. I'm not going to get into Andy Dalton. But they also drafted Justin Fields. It'll be interesting to see what they do week 1. Will they be rolling out Dalton or Fields? And I'm pretty sure don't they play LA? I think they play LA week 1. So they'd be playing Matt Stafford. That's interesting. I might be wrong. No, not a lot of chatter on Barnes. In fact, I haven't really heard anything about him. The linebacker core, I do have a video coming out for you guys about the linebackers as a whole this week. So I don't want to dip too much into it. But no, not a lot of chatter really about the linebacker room other than Trey Flowers transitioning to that stand-up linebacker. It sounds like they believe that him working in space with the amount of space will be better for him. And for what it's worth, I listened to Trey Flowers and he basically was like, hey man, I'm just going to do whatever it takes to help this team out to win games. Trey Flowers has a very interesting personality to me, just like listening to him. But it'll be fascinating to see with Romeo Okwara, Trey Flowers, stand-up linebackers working in space. I'm excited for the 3-4 defense. I'm just excited to see something new and to see us rushing the QB. I can't wait to see the opposing quarterbacks actually be tackled. Like, that will be nice. Granted, I'm pretty sure we play flag football now. Pretty sure you're not allowed to tackle the quarterback if I'm might be mistaken, but I think that's the new rule, right? You're allowed to look at them and then they're allowed to throw, but you're not allowed to touch them, especially Tom Brady, right? That's the rule? Nah. Yeah. No, all in all, guys, I appreciate you all. I know it's been this is a definitely a shorter one. I am going to be cutting it short. Not too much to talk about. I appreciate you all being here as a whole. When I look at the mini camp, it sounds like the wide receiver room is wide open for anybody to take a spot there. Terrell Williams taking number one. After that, Brashad Perriman is your number two. But even from there, Victor Bolden showing up, Khalif Raymond for special teams. Sounds like Amon-Ra St. Brown. All in all, it sounds like the wide receiver room is having a ton of competition, people fighting for those positions. Hockenson really stepping up. O-line looks beautiful. Defense is as I said, up and down, but all in all, improvement and trust in Aaron Glenn. I gotta say, I am excited. We have OTAs next week. It'll be interesting to kind of hear what comes out of there. But all in all, that is pretty much it. That's what I got for you today. I know we're cutting it 15 minutes short, only a 45-minute session, but I appreciate you all being here. And with that being said, that is all I got for you today. Just kind of wanted to hang out, drink some coffee, talk about it. Jason, you don't trust Brashad Perriman? I don't blame you, but let me just say this. He had Sam Darnold throwing him the rock, and it wasn't good. So if anybody, I think Brashad Perriman has a huge leg up coming into this season now without Sam Darnold, with a guy like Goff, accurate, can throw the ball well. I look at this, throws a nice ball as well. It's not like the Matt Stafford BBs, right? Look at every Detroit Lions wide receiver's hands. They're all screwed up. I look at it. I think Brashad Perriman has a great season. All right, my friends. Appreciate it. Appreciate you guys being here. Kyle Massey, my man. K Lump Sauce. I'm going to get that right one of these times. Appreciate it. YouTube guy, thanks for being here. Lions fan, one Paulie LF Peak jumping in at the end. Good to see you. Appreciate you guys. Hey, all in all, it was a good week. Great week for the Detroit Lions. Just getting it going, man. Getting this season ready. And once more, Grandma, happy birthday. I'll catch you guys.